Yo, 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 coming to you with another quick video. Another response to I don't know, he's more than a culture vulture. This fucking Vladimir. I got a response to Vlad today in his interview, a part he did with Kevin Samuels. It's just a quick part, but I'm going to show you how Vlad basically, like I always say, how Vlad controls most people he deals with, which is probably most black people. He controls them with higher levels of communication. Whether he's going to lead you to snitch on some of your cases, whether he's going to lead you to snitch on some of your people, whatever he's going to do, he does it with high levels of communication. So these videos are, I do videos like this on other people, but a lot of times, lately, it's been on Vlad. So this is a response video of him and his Kevin Samuels interview. Now, Kevin Samuels, he's a dude on the scene doing podcasts. He seems like a cool dude. He catches some hell because he says some shit that probably a lot of people think about saying, but maybe his delivery just rubs some people the wrong way. But everyone kind of knows who Kevin Samuels is by now. But I'm just here to critique this fucking interview because once you learn communication tactics like these, you'll see how Vlad, and I'm gonna point them out, how Vlad don't give a fuck about none of us black people. He's just using us for views. He's culture vulture. Also, like I said, with his high levels of communication, he can lead you to some fuck shit. He can lead you to prison. But I'm gonna point them out so y'all know when y'all start going on Vlad's show, y'all know how to rise above these high levels of communications. To do that, you have to go deep. But let's get into this video. I ain't gonna play the video on this thing because Vlad will give me a content strike because he's a bitch. But let's go.
Yeah, and I think what people really need to realize is that social media is still relatively a new thing in the history of mankind. Media itself has always been, historically, there's only been a few media outlets. They've had to cater to as many people as possible because there's only a few channels on TV. There's only a few, newspapers. There's only a few magazines. You try to catch as many human beings as possible to subscribe or watch and so forth. With new media, which is something that I started 13 years ago, I didn't start it, but Vladtv started in the era of new media.
Right.
I quickly realized that it doesn't matter if I get the mainstream. I have a very loyal audience.
I'm just gonna stop it right there because I'm pointing out, like he said, it doesn't matter if he gets the mainstream artists. The people that say they're gonna cancel Vlad, y'all can't cancel Vlad because he's gonna tell you why. Now listen. He's going to show, and I'm going to point out how his main audience is black. We know that. Everyone should know that. But the culture vulture shit comes in, and when I say he's leading, now, Kevin Samuels is like, he's on fire these days, right? So Vlad gets, by having Kevin Samuels on this show, Vlad gets some of that clout, right? Because the views and you type in Kevin Samuels, you see him on Vlad interview, right? But what Vlad does is he tries to interject what's going on with him. People calling him a culture vulture, people calling him a bitch, people doing this. He's trying to say, yo, this is why I do this and I get a lot of views from it. I make a lot of money from it. So I must be doing something right. But we all know what he does. He's supposed to be a music DJ, but all he talks about is your fucking criminal past. He lowers the level of black people, and he benefits financially off of it. Now I'm just talking, but I'm preparing you for what you're gonna hear, how Vlad does it.
And that audience, and I look at my statistics, and I look at my my demographics and everything, is a 90% male audience. age 18 to 35, located in certain cities, mostly New York, Houston, Los Angeles, Chicago, and so forth. A large African-American audience, a large Spanish audience, also, a large, white audience, although not as big as other audiences. So
Black and Spanish, people that will probably rob you if they did business with you constantly, but you benefit. But it's been going on, like black exploitation. The same people benefited off of making, we know Vlad is Jewish, right? We know that. He probably got his upbringing in either New York or California, probably both. We know that because that's what the media is. So he jumps into the black urban community and tries to act like, hey guys, I'm one of you. I'm going to interview your black urban stars. But no, he's not interviewing them. He's taking their clout. He's financially benefited off of it. And he's using his high levels of communication to get them to make him, to bolster his arguments and everything in life. He doesn't give a fuck about what Kevin Samuels have to say. Watch, you'll see it very soon. He doesn't give a shit about what Kevin Samuels has to say. He's just using Kevin Samuels to make him look better. That's what's up. Watch.
I've had to put myself in the mind state this whole time of I'm creating content for my core audience. Mm-hmm. Now, I remember there was a situation where I had a female employee who said, I don't like the type of stuff you're putting out there. You need to do more of this type of stuff. Or it's like, well, but this isn't created for you.
Right.
What we create is not meant for you to consume. You're only 10% of our audience. Mm-hmm. So I can't cater, I can't put, makeup tips on my website or do videos about that because my audience doesn't watch that shit.
Right.
Makeup tips. That's all girls have to offer. I can't talk to black women because you're not going to view my shit. But no, I'm not going to even bring on any black woman because I don't want to just put on makeup tips. That's all you have to offer. That's Vlad telling you you're subliminally fucking lower than, whatever. I don't need to make women's videos. But if we're talking about black urban community, women are a big part of black urban community, big part of the culture. But you get Kevin Samuels on because Kevin Samuels be not dissing, he just tell it straight to some black women. So you get Kevin Samuels on to make your situation with that girl that you fired on your show and that probably sued you. You want him to agree with you. So you just bring your shit up in a conversation that has nothing to do with nothing. Nobody cares about what the girl, but you want Kevin Samuels, you think Kevin Samuels are going to talk shit about women, so you're setting him up to do that. Let's see how Kevin Samuels go through it.
Men have no interest in that. So I can't have more kind of demographic type, choices in what we do and cater to women and cater to kids and so forth. Those aren't people who watch my platform. So I have to create content for my platform. I've been doing it for 13 years. It's built a significant business. We have a dozen employees. We have a production company. We have multiple studios. It's worked for us. If you don't like it, and there's lots of people who despise Vladtv, who feel we need to be canceled and obliterated, and no one should ever come to our platform, and the world would be a better place without us. And that's fine. That is their platform.
Vlad, see what I mean? He always throws in his shit. Bitch, you supposed to be interviewing Kevin Samuels. Nobody gives a fuck about what people think about Vlad. You're leading on you're controlling the narrative of the whole black community that watches this shit and don't understand what you're doing. You're controlling the narrative. Vlad, who gives a fuck about your story about the girl in the background that wanted you to do more women's centered shit? Who gives a fuck about that? Who gives a fuck about people saying, don't watch Vlad? You're supposed to be interviewing Kevin. But you need Kevin to stand next to you when you do your bullshit. So in order for you to do your bullshit, you got to have Kevin nodding at odd and not knowing what you're doing. But Kevin, he's doing a good job. If you could see this video, he's just sitting like this. and basically just listening to him. Now watch, here's the good part. I know we're like 8, 9 minutes in, 10 minutes in, but it's gonna get good.
Catering to their audience, saying those things. And everyone in their comments like, yeah, we agree with you. It doesn't have any effect on us.
Right.
We still do great. But we have to focus on what it is. And I think that you're kind of in the same type of boat where you figured out over the years what reacts with the people who watch you. And that's going to piss a lot of people off. And that's okay, because we're in a world where you could have a very specialized type of media outlet that caters to people that really, are super fans of this, and you don't have to make everyone happy, and you never will any.
No.
So what he's doing is trying to tell Kevin, before I let you talk, I'm going to let you think that I'm successful. And if you want to be successful, we got to be like each other. It's okay. We're like each other. And Kevin like, yeah, man, we're like each other, but that's not true. Vlad hurts the black community. Kevin is actually thinking he's doing something good to the black community by helping black women, whatever. They're not the same, is what I'm saying. So that lead into that question should be the interviewee should have been looking like, no, Vlad, we're not the same. We're nothing alike, actually. Like, if you look at any other black interviewers that's been doing it in the community as long as Vlad, you look at like Beehive. He don't ask people about their cases like that. Beehive in Atlanta. He don't ask people about, who did you shoot up and how much crack did y'all sell and this, that. But he still interviews the same amount of people as Vlad does. He still gets great interviews. Look at Sean Cotton. Say Cheese interviews. He don't talk like that. Sean Cotton got Charleston White blowing up right now with these interviews. All these people in the Dallas Fort Worth area. They don't interview like you do, Vlad. Y'all not alike. You and Kevin Samuels are not alike. Don't put that. Now watch how Kevin Samuels answer. And then you're gonna see how Vlad just disregards Kevin Samuel. He don't give a fuck about Kevin Samuel's story. You'll see. Check this out.
And thing is, men's content for men has been mischaracterized as you're a bunch of misogynist, woman-hating, incel, this, that, can't get a woman. That's like, no. This is the same stuff men have been talking about anytime men are together. We rank women. Hey, man, back, depends on how old you are, Charlie's Angels. Which angel was hotter? Farrah Fawcett, Linda Carter. We do these things. So when I've been on other platforms, people who are around a lot of men understand they do this stuff. But, my audience is primarily men, and it is rare for a lot of men to see then a black man sitting on camera who has the nerve to talk about men's and women's relationship stuff, but then also talk about black folks, our stuff, and how, well, it may be in general have a lot to do with men and women. What about our more unique situation? I'll talk about both of them. And I've come along in a place where a lot of guys didn't exist, but before I was around, there was the larger manosphere, there's the black manosphere, there are content creators everywhere. And for the most part, what you're starting to hear is your uncle, your cousin, your brother, men who have felt like they have not had a voice, could not even be honest or tell the truth without fear of being canceled, saying thank you. And you're starting to see more and more and more people come up. There are people who were in this sector of the space before me. There'll be people after me, because this is not going away. It's only getting larger. I was looking at this channel, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. This guy, he had Shahrazad Ali on his channel. Shahrazad Ali has been saying the same things that a lot of men have been talking about for the past 30 years, and it's got a new resurgence. And what is she ultimately saying? That we need to have our men and our women have better respect for one another. And the conversation needs to be joined by women. Women are not our enemies. And that's the point. That's why they've tried to cast me in this misogynistic, such and so forth, blah, blah. But when you hear a woman say men are trash, you can't talk to me about misogyny. That's misandry. You talk about white supremacy and racism and all this other kind of stuff. Well, look at the first destruction of what's going on in our space. Before you can deal with the white man, you got to deal with the women who are calling you trash, and you don't want an average man, and you got to have, I don't want no scrub. See, what I won't do is I won't take my eye off of what I see the issue is. When I talk to men, they're saying the number one problem I have is trying to deal with the women I like and want. That's the biggest problem. And that's what we're talking about. And they don't like the fact that now accountability and conversation is focused on their portion. And see, the thing is, I find it funny, Vlad. It's like, one thing that I get more than anything else, well, we hear you talking about the women. Why don't you talk about the men too? I talked to the men for 3 years. It's all up. But no one wanted to hear this stuff. But when I started talking to the women, then all of a sudden it became this. Well, I look at it from a state of triage. If this is what's bleeding the most, stick with this. Don't worry about the ingrown toenail.
Check this out. I paused it. Great answer. It was a long answer. What he said is he answered Vlad by talking about cancel culture against men and men fighting back or standing up against cancel culture. And we all know there is a some kind of system cancel culture against the patriarchy in the West. And all of a sudden, men are bad, men are this, men are that. Men can't say anything, men can't stand up, whatever. This is what Kevin Samuels is talking about. He even mentioned Shahrazad Ali. He said a lot of good shit. Watch how Vlad responds to that answer. Watch how Vlad responds. This response alone is going to prove everything that I was just saying in this video. One, he doesn't care about what Kevin Samuels just said. He doesn't respect his interviewee. He doesn't give a fuck about Kevin Samuels talking or his point he's trying to portray on a big platform. He doesn't give a fuck. 3, he is trying to lead one of our biggest kind of stars in the urban community. He's trying to lead them to stand next to him and co-sign Vlad's bullshit. This is why Vlad can't get canceled, because he leads our biggest stars to co-sign him. Watch, just by listening to this response. Watch this.
Right. The internet loves to tell you that you have no right even talking about a subject.
Right.
They love it. I don't know how many times I've been told that I don't have the right to speak about Black issues at all. Mm-hmm. That I only need to stick to white issues or Russian issues. Mm-hmm. And it'd be ridiculous for me to tell a Black person, like, okay, don't speak about white people at all. I don't want that to even enter your vocabulary.
You can't.
It's not possible, not in America.
You can't, because if you did it, you'd be labeled a racist. And see, that's the thing. It's like, okay, well, but...
Vlad, once again, I ask you, who gives a fuck what the content section is saying to you? When Homeboy just talked about the rise up against cancel culture, now you say, oh yeah, and people tell me I can't speak on Black culture either. A Black male trying to stand up against cancel culture against Black men is not the same about a comment section telling Vlad you can't speak on Black issues that send other Blacks to prison or get killed over internet clout. It's not the same, Vlad. Don't attach your story to Kevin Samuels' story, because they're not the same. Kevin Samuels didn't get that. He should have said, yo, our shit is not the same. What people tell you in the comment section, Vlad, about you talking on some snitching shit or some criminal background shit, and you're leading people to snitch on camera 24/7, 365 is not the same thing as a Black male standing up against cancel culture in America. But if you have nobody to understand your higher levels of fucking communication, nobody is going to check you when you just disregarded everybody's everything this dude just said. Did you ask him about Scheherazade Ali? What was she talking about in the 90s? No, you didn't ask him about cancel culture. You didn't ask him about what the fuck he just said. What? Hold on, what? What did you say about black men standing up against cancel culture? Who's Scheherazade Ali? You didn't say none of that because you don't want that to get to the masses, to the black people that's watching your show. You don't want those words of uplifting to get. You just want Kevin Samuels clout, and you want to lead him to co-sign your bullshit. That's it. But you don't understand that if you didn't take Go Deep seminar for $19.99, 4 easy payments of $19.99, you bitch.